Welcome to NPK's podcast. We're talking about an introduction to hydroponics.
We have myself, Stephen,
Jay,
and Thomas from NPK Technology.
So we've decided to put together a few podcasts for you to listen to, whether you're in the gym or in the car. We're talking about an introduction to hydroponics and get you all up to speed and up to date on what it is. Next few weeks we'll have Foxy with us. Next few weeks talking about hydroponics, medium and an introduction to growing, different growing method, and finally talking about your specific knowledge on tents and what's best to use.
Yeah, I'll be having a chat to you about different types of tent and pros and cons of buying silver, white, different poles, different styles, different things. Also talking about some other good new products. We're talking about some biostimulants and all lots of other little stuff.
Looks good. We've got some nice bits of paperwork in front of us here, some nice charts.
And also, I'm going to investigate the benefits of these products and what the beneficial sides to all of these products in the growth of indoor plants has.
You've been testing all these products for the last 3 or 4 weeks, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I've got some specific knowledge as well. So everything that we're talking about has all been tested by ourselves and by our friends, so we know exactly what it's saying, what it's doing, the pros and cons. You're choking there on the water there, Foxy.
I'm having a bit of a choke.
Sound. So for people who don't really know and they want to find out what's hydroponics, what was your take on what is hydroponics?
Oh, you're asking me? Okay.
Well, it's a tough question to start off with this, Foxy.
Hydroponics in simplest terms is growing plants without any soil.
Okay, so we've got hydroponics, soilless, as we just talked about there. We have various different forms of hydroponics. You have run-to-waste systems, recirculating systems, flood and drain systems, NFT, nutrient film technique, and so on and so on and so on. Hydroponics is exactly what you said there, Foxy. It is grown plants without using any sort of media, just basically putting the roots in water and building plants on that basis.
And hydroponics is used far more often than you might realise. If you were to give your local supermarket a call and ask them how much of their salad is grown hydroponically, I think you'd be quite surprised at the answer, majority of it.
I think it's going to be huge. In the next 10 years, hydroponics is going to be it's going to be the way to grow food. With our population increasing in the world and the amount of food, we haven't got enough food to feed.
Well, we've also seen in our store that we grow our selection of plants in store in the home box. What tent is it we're using?
You've got a Homebox Evolution tent,
yeah,
and you've also got a Grow Lab. You've got a Grow Lab, which is the one with the windows.
Oh yeah, the viewing windows, yeah, that's the one we've currently been growing in at the moment. And what I've noticed is, because we also have an allotment, and the allotment severely suffers because Mother Nature isn't so generous nowadays, so we don't benefit from a lot of sunshine, we benefit from a lot of bad weather at the moment outdoors. So that's why with our changing climates, hydroponic growing indoors is beneficial to everyone, and soon, I believe personally, will be the future because of the way the climate's changing currently.
Yeah, definitely. And you've all seen, you've been in the supermarket and you've seen those packs of ready packed veg, for example, like trim beans, and you see how many miles they're coming from. They're coming from all the way, halfway across the world, been flown using loads of fuel, loads of miles. You could be growing all these things in your house, super local,
and costing you next to nothing as well, because the price of fresh fruit and vegetables now is
absolutely
astronomical, to be honest with you. So you could be doing this all in your own home, and you can actually enjoy it as well, because I don't know about everybody else, but me personally, I really do love gardening, and I love growing my own produce all the time, and I have done for many years and will continue to do so.
Would you say, for any beginners that are listening to this podcast, would you say it's easy to start up, easy to do?
Yeah, because with anything that you learn how to do from fresh might seem so daunting. Oh, the word hydroponics sounds very complicated, but you'd always walk before you can run, don't you? So you start off with a small system, maybe even a one pot system, which will cost you maybe £40-50 or something, and then you can work your way up to an intermediate. But when you come into NPK technology, you'll realise that there's a lot of information, there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of leaflets, there's a lot of books, and the staff at NPK technology are a dedicated team to helping the customers always. So if it is that daunting, don't let it be so, because there's simplified versions that can easily get you started off with a very low budget also.
Yeah, get you the growing bug. I've just given my mum a nice tray with a smart pot valve, made a makeshift reservoir for her. She's grown 4 roses, and you want to see the difference in them. It's tremendous.
You know what though, I did notice what did you put something on Facebook the other day?
Yes.
About the roses?
Yes.
What was that?
She had 2 pots of roses. We left one, we transplanted another because it wasn't looking too healthy, a bit of black spot, so we had some black spot on there which needs to be treated. It's a fungus, and so we transplanted it, gave it some of this charge that we'll be talking about a bit later on, gave her a good watering, good feed, and you want to see the difference. The photos are up on our Facebook site now, NPK Technology on Facebook. If you want to give us a follow and a like, you can keep up to date on us there.
Good job the boot's full then, really, isn't it?
The boot's full of charge.
Yeah, I'll be
Oh, yeah.
tapping you up for an order, Thomas.
Yeah, I bet you'll be offloading everything to us, yeah.
It's good as well. I think you mentioned yesterday when we were having a little phone call that it used to actually go to landfill, didn't it?
Yeah, it was actually a waste byproduct from another producer.
So is this charge, is it?
This is charge.
So what is charge?
Charge, in simplest terms, is insect frass. It's beetle poo.
Beetle poo, okay.
And these beetles are fed on a vegan diet of organic carrots and wheat germ.
Oh, so the really well-fed beetles, I hear.
They're really well-fed beetles. You know, it's not just any carrots; it's organic carrots and wheat germ. Because this is a Soil Association approved product. It's fully organic.
And what is it about? What's it for? What's the point in having it? You know, I'm just a new customer, walked in the store, and here's a tub of charge. Well, why would I want to spend my money on this bucket of beetle poo? What's the point?
It's full of beneficial biological goodies for your plants. It stimulates growth, improves root health, and helps you achieve bigger yields.
And how would you use it?
You can use it, initially you'd use it, if you were using soil or cocoa, you'd mix 1 litre of charge as a pre-mix with 50 litres of cocoa. And then you could use it 4 weeks later as a top dress, like where you just sprinkle some on the top of either at the allotment, you'd sprinkle it on your beds or on the top of your pot, and then you'd use it again 4 weeks later. And the tests we've had done, significant results, significant changes. I mean, we're looking at some pictures here in the studio that you can't see at home of a couple of radishes. One's been fed with charge and one's without charge, and different pictures of, we're looking at sort of something that's nearly twice the size.
And the root mass on the charge radishes is a lot bigger as well, a lot more white hairy roots, and that's exactly
I mean, this product's been made by a company called Ecothrive. They're not too far away, just over in Sheffield. It's been in testing for over 12 months. Been in for all different sorts of plants, vegetables, and the results are just amazing.
It speaks for themselves, really, isn't it? So if you come down the shop, you can show you the difference.
It's just
charged.
It's just super simple product. You know, it's been pooed in the UK as well. Hasn't been flowing in from outside the UK because
so
there are
it's legitimate UK beetle poo.
Yeah, there are some issues as well with some other types of poo products where if they come in from outside the EU, they have to be heat treated.
Yeah, which is really bad.
Which you're going to kill off a lot of the goodness, a lot of all the beneficial bacteria that you want to have that you're paying for is not going to be there. Well, some of it's going to be there, but the majority of it, want a better phrase, is going to be nuked by all that heat treatment.
So basically what we're saying is any of these products that are possibly imported in from outside of the UK have to be treated.
Yeah.
So it has an effect on.
There's an EU directive.
Yeah.
But this is all UK produced, UK made, so again, hasn't travelled too far to get to you. Super high quality.
And as it says under there, chock-a-block full of beneficial biological goodies.
Oh, I love that word, chock-a-block, don't you?
Chock-a-block, it's great. And it's really nicely priced as well. Got a litre there for $5.95, so that's really
going to treat how many litres of
50 litres of soil.
That's basically one bag.
Yeah.
Of soil.
For our bigger customers, we have a 5 litre at $19.95, and we also do a 10 litre at $29.95.
And how the 10 litres? So that's going to do 500.
That is going to do that's going to do 500 litres.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds pretty good. We'll have to run it through our vigorous testing regimes.
You will, and if anyone else wants to test, I'll make sure they've got some free samples.
Okay,
come into the shop then if you're looking to try some of this charge.
So you've heard that, people, yes. Yeah, you have heard that. Say it again, Stephen.
If you're looking to come in and get some of this charge, pop in the shop. We're open, as you know, Monday through to Saturday. Pop in, let us know you want some of this charge, and we'll get you some for free. Let us know what you think about it.
But you will have to fill in a feedback form.
Yeah, we want feedback about this beetle poo and nothing else. Well, the technical name for it is insect frass.
I prefer poo.
Yeah, it's got a funny sort of smell to it. My car generally stinks of it now.
something that I think people want to know is who grows hydroponically around the world. And I know personally there's Eden Project down in Cornwall. They do a little bit with AutoPots, so they're grown hydroponically. I know that there's...
Is that the chili factory?
That's quite close to the chili factory. The biggest chili factory. I may be mistaken. One of the biggest chili factories all grown hydroponically.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be doing a much more in-depth podcast on that.
Yeah.
Just on the chilies produced hydroponically.
I know there's lots of big tomato farms down in Worcestershire and Evesham growing hydroponically.
Do you know who else grows hydroponically? NASA.
Oh yes, yeah, NASA grow hydroponically, and up on the old space station, hydroponics going on there. There's
that's pretty interesting that you mentioned that there, Foxy, because how long have NASA actually been doing that?
A long time.
A long time,
yeah.
So that shows something, there we've got a space station up in the middle of space, orbiting our planet, and lo and behold, they have a hydroponics grow system in there. Why?
Well, the main reason why is because they want to give the astronauts and people up there some quality fresh food to eat, as opposed to sort of relying on sort of what to all intents and purposes is sort of like army rations and sort of rehydrated stuff.
So what that basically leads me to think is, this hydroponics grown, it must be really self-sustainable and really beneficial if NASA are going to put it in the space station.
Yeah, it's a super clean way to grow.
Yeah.
And you guaranteed quality, you guaranteed results quickly as well. A lot quicker than sort of normal methods of growing.
So that'll be leading to next week's episode when we're talking about soil, cocoa and hydro and the differences between the three. But as a quick sort of introduction, when you grow hydroponically, like you said, you're getting much quicker yields, bigger yields, better tasting fruits, higher in sugar content, which I believe is called higher bricks content. And it really is, I totally believe, like I've said, next 10 years hydroponics is going to be the future for the space, for food deserts where it's very hard to get hold of good fresh food. And another one of our later podcasts in a few weeks time, we'll be talking about urban farms where you literally grow in a skyscraper.
Yeah, they also use hydroponics down at the Halley 5 research station in Antarctica as a weather research station, just because of the outside environment. It's too harsh to grow any plants whatsoever. They're growing hydroponically indoors to make sure all the scientists have got some fresh salad. Again, bit sort of like space on Earth, really. So they're well fed, and they're not just relying on these rehydration meals.
I'm really looking forward just to when it all takes off and people see the benefits of hydroponics and how it can help their lives and everybody else's lives. It's going to be good.
Honestly think it's going to be a big turning point in the next 10 years for the way produce is grown in the UK as well. I think a lot of people are going to, especially people who do grow outdoors and stuff like that, maybe for their own personal consumption, they're going to have more and more difficulties, because I know I'm a fond grower in soil and cocoa outdoors as well myself. I do hydroponics, I do a bit of all types of growing, and I see the effects over the past couple of years that me food crops that I'm growing indoors are a lot better and yield a lot higher and the quality is exceptional. However, the ones that I have outdoors that are suffering from Mother Nature, unfortunately, some are dying, some are getting really infected, pests and disease, and I'm basically playing the lottery whether I'm going to get an end product at the end or not. So at least growing indoors, whether it be hydroponically or basically with a tent and some 4 pots and some soil indoors, is a guaranteed result. So the way I think in the next 10 years with our climate, I think growing indoors is going to really increase.
As you can tell, it's something that we're all really passionate about, and for those people that are really interested in the environment and sustainability and green living, organic growing, when you're growing indoors in our British winter, because we can't grow outdoors much, we're not using any pesticides, because if you're managing your environment and you're keeping everything clean, you don't get pests, you don't get disease. If you manage your environment, you're not going to get any mould, so you're not using pesticides, you're not using fungicides. It's just a much cleaner, healthier way of growing your own fruit and veg, and look forward to seeing what the future brings.
Well, not only that, just one quick thing before we finish, because you also got the government talking about bedroom tax, haven't you? So you could even stick a tent in your third bedroom and grow some fresh fruit and veg. The money that you'll save on in the supermarket, can go towards the bedroom tax or whatnot, and it's going to be guaranteed.
Yeah.
And you might be able to sell or share some of that produce with your neighbours as well, and start a small sort of growing cooperative.
That'd be awesome. That sounds really great. Well, I think that wraps it up for our first podcast. I hope you learnt a little bit about hydroponics and our introduction to growing. Next week, it'll be a more in-depth introduction to growing, talking about the soil, the cocoa hydro, what you can do with them, the best methods to use. And we're going to take it from there.
And also, don't forget, guys, we're really keen to answer any questions that you might have. So if you want to get any questions to us, we'll get them answered for you.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
See you next week.
At NPK Technology in Liverpool, we pride ourselves on providing you with the products you need at the right price. Once more, if the products you want aren't in stock, we'll order them in for you. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, we'll happily point you in the right direction. NPK Technology Liverpool, going out of our way to help you grow. Visit www.mpktechnology.co.uk.
Life is good.